Hey guys, welcome back for season 3 of Balanced and Boujee. We're very excited to be back after our extended and surprised hiatus that I'm gonna fully blame on one of our episodes getting completely deleted back this summer. So it's that fault, not ours.
100%. Actually, this morning when I was reflecting on getting ready for this and I was so excited, I was like prepared to tell you guys that what was the nail in my coffin was that like an hour and a half interview that we're like, we'll make it two parts. It's just so good. It's so dense. Erica's file just never appeared. And we were devastated. And I was like, fine, you know what? I'm done for a while. But now we're back. And it feels so good to be back.
We really felt like we don't ever want to make Balanced and Bougie while we're in a mindset that it feels like work or something that we're forcing ourselves to do, because that wouldn't be authentic to what we're trying to create and envision here. So we took a few months off, and then we've actually spent the last, few months, I'd say since November, December, really reworking the idea of what Balanced and Bougie is and what it could be.
Yes. Well said. Because it started to feel too, and again, I think that video was kind of like the final point of like, okay, we talked through what we wanted to, where do we really want this to go? And so taking that time away, we know we didn't want it to fall away completely, but it needed a little revamp. And maybe we should we tell them about it? Where our ideas are going?
I suppose so. We can let them in on the secret of what's going to come here in season 3, and hopefully that'll mean even more episodes for you guys.
Yes. So, as you guys probably know, the first two seasons were mostly Erica and I talking about topics that we're passionate about or just diving into conversations that we normally have with each other, but bringing you guys in on all the fun. And looking ahead, of course, we want to still do that, right? Because we started this to talk to each other. And we think we're funny and interesting. And if you're listening, maybe you do too. But we also found within that, I think some of our unique drives and passions, one of mine being interviewing people. I had the opportunity to have so many beautiful people come across my path in life, and I have, whether it be a gift or a curse, that sometimes people's life stories just come pouring out at me. And in all fairness, though, I usually ask them. Like, I'm just like, oh my gosh, something about you so interesting, and I hyperfixate, and then they're stuck there for like 2 hours. And I learned something from them, or I think they have things to share. So I'm really excited. I have some awesome people lined up that I'm excited to interview for you guys to give you just new food for thought, areas of health, wellness, growth, staying on brand there. So, in addition to our fun, girly conversations, that's going to be mine. I'm going to bring in some interviews. And then, Erica, let's tell us about your end of the triangle.
I totally, I want to actually like beef up what Brooke is talking about for her end of this new era that I'm so excited for. And part of this is that we're bringing, different experts, so you could say, in on different, fields, experiences, lived experiences, and Brooke's going to be able to bring their knowledge to the table because truth be told, Brooke and I have our own experiences. We have a lot of, ideas, opinions, and we've read up and we have learned, but we definitely don't know everything. And often the ideas and things we want to talk about, we're not super informed on. And so we haven't brought it to the table because we don't want to misinform anyone. And this is a way that Brooke's going to be able to really bring in those ideas, that information, and be able to share with you even more than what just Brooke and I would be able to let you guys in on.
Yes, totally. Because a big part of Erica and I think, as people, our friendship and the purpose of this podcast is learning and growing and finding new resources and sharing them with you guys. And what better than to bring in the source when we can. So
absolutely. And you guys have gotten a taste of some interviewing in previous seasons, but I have seen Brooke's planned interview list, guys, and you're in for an exciting season and a lot of really, really cool people, especially women, because, we definitely want to make sure that we are promoting women and women experts in different fields. And I cannot wait to hear what you guys think about it and all the different types of people you may want Brooke to reach out to, interview. I mean, if you have an idea, reach out to us, let us know. We'll definitely try. The worst they can say is no.
yes. And I have no shame in cold calling and asking people to be on this podcast. So please, that is one thing that is staying consistent across our other seasons, is we want to interact with you guys. And the hope of adding to our current structure is that maybe we can interact with you more and give you more of what you're looking for. Because I don't know about you, Erica, but oftentimes if someone's like, I want to learn about this, I'm like, me too. Because why not? Because there's so much out there and you never know where it's going to take you. So,
Absolutely. That's what I miss about like college the most. And I look
yeah.
back and I think about those like random classes we got to take and learn about a different group of people or a different theory, or all those things are so interesting and so cool. And I think that is something that sometimes I feel like I'm missing out on in adulthood. So why not dive head first? Learn about something new, something that appeals to you, but also something that you might not be interested in. Who knows? Once you hear more, you might be like, actually, this could really impact my life.
So we're going to be talking. We'll bring in new people to give you food for thought. And then Erica is going to uniquely share her gifts in certain segments. So tell us about that.
So I am toying around with the idea of reading Reddit stories about friendship and talking about them here. Friendship has always been one of the most important parts of my life, and it's something that I feel like I try to be really intentional about, and I try to reflect on my friendships, and I try to really take ownership for my part, both good and bad, in friendships, and I think that that's a strength that I have. So I thought it would be interesting to read these stories from Reddit, but hope my goal is that eventually you guys will send me in stories and questions about experiences you're having with friends or people you want to be friends with, and we can kind of navigate through, was this a toxic experience? Were we feeling extra sensitive? What should your next steps be, especially if you want to preserve those friendships? It'll kind of just be like you're calling me on the phone and we're chatting about this experience, and I can keep you totally anonymous. In fact, I plan to keep everyone totally anonymous. And again, it's just my opinion, but it might give you the answer you want, because you can agree with me and then you're like, great, I'm going to try that method in my friendship, or you can disagree with me and that gives you your answer too. You kind of find out
Yes.
where you want to go.
Yes. And you guys, I feel like I've gate kept Erica as like the best friendship resource for a long time. And last season was just a taste of some of the knowledge and processing skills that she has. I think you have it in so many areas of life, Erica, but you are so right that one thing I recognized about you very early on in getting to know you is that you are such an intentional friend. Like loyalty, dedication to your friends, being available, being of service, like it's hardwired in you. And additionally, you have the ability to speak to it very eloquently, very naturally, and to take your own experiences and help apply that to others. So I'm really excited for, I think it's great that we're starting with just some general questions to give you guys a feel of what this will look like. But then I think Erica will be a great resource, because if it's not this, I think she should pivot and become like a counselor or something.
I want to be the people's counselor. I want to be right
Yeah.
here in this podcast form. Either way, it's going to be fun. And one of my big goals with focusing on friendship is kind of focusing on building a village. And that's even an episode that Brooke and I plan to do together, is talking about, promoting a village, being a villager, so that way you also have a village to be there for you. And one thing that I think our society is really struggling with right now is how to be part of a village, but how to also respect yourself and your boundaries. And that is something I kind of really want to push with this new series on Balanced and Boujee, and kind of sit with those yucky feelings, or sit with, a knee-jerk reaction you have to a situation and think, how will my reaction to this situation affect the village I'm trying to promote and build, while not letting people manipulate you? Because also, while it's important to give of yourself, you need to make sure that you're protecting yourself at the same time.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, very well said. It's that the balance, right? Of honoring yourself, which is a huge part of this podcast, and then also, yeah, bringing in that self-reflection, that awareness in those areas for growth, because especially when it comes to friends, relating to people, communicating, we're the product of what we learned, right? And just what society told us or what our parents modeled to us, but that is always subject to change. You have the power to change that. And that might sound heavy, like, oh, I'll have to, but no, it can be like fun and light. You can try new things. Like that is, I think, a very potent piece of creative energy too, is that in your friendships, in your life, you're like, yeah, what would it look like to build my village? And what active role am I going to play in that? So a lot of good, a lot of fun coming down the road.
Absolutely. And while it might feel heavy, I also think, Brooke is right. It's actually kind of empowering to realize how much impact you can have on those different pieces of your life. And that's really where we're looking as a platform, as the podcast moves through our interviews, through the friendship series, through our, regular Brooke and Erica back and forth. We are looking at trying to take control in our lives and how to mold our lives into the best possible version we can. And that's super important, especially when you may be going through the thick of it and feel like you have control over nothing in your life. We are going to try to harness that power and see where you do.
See, you guys, come on. She's so good. Are you looking to make a change in your life? Do you desire to come into greater connection with your authentic self and express yourself more fully? Is there a project, passion, or piece of yourself that you've been wanting to create and share with the world? Or have you been working towards a dream, but you've burned out along the way? Do you desire to communicate and connect with others on a deeper level? Do you want to leave a legacy? If you answered yes to any of these questions, but feel you need some assistance with your progress forward, then life coaching might be the next right step for you. As a certified life coach, I use my unique skills and training to help my clients gain clarity on their goals, design a roadmap towards achieving them, and identify the tools, resources, and my favorite, their unique gifts that will support them along their way. And it doesn't matter where you are on the road. If you're right at the beginning, halfway there, almost to that finish line, or you can't even see where the road begins yet. Regardless of where you are, if you're ready to invest in yourself and your dreams with a dedicated coach who's excited to champion you along your way, I would love the chance to work with you. Visit my website, brookefields.com. There you will find more information about the coaching services I provide and how to book your free, no strings attached, 30-minute consultation. Whether you're ready to stop playing small or eager to expand boldly, let's do it together. Another big theme in kind of the revamp of Balanced and Boujee, if you will, is this idea that Eric and I have alluded to in the past, but like growth, self-acceptance, building your village, everything in life, nothing is linear, right? And I grapple with it every day. And especially I think in this past year of my life, it has meant to many a mentee be, is just being like, why isn't it linear? And when we were talking about the brand, we're like, from the beginning, we knew it's not, right? There is Balanced and there is Boujee, and there's a dial, there's a sway. We talk a lot in the past about pendulum swings, and maybe we don't go all the way to one side, back to the other, but where is that hovering point in the middle? And that not only with this structure that we're building, but with the content we want to give you guys, we really want to emphasize that too, is just finding the right balance, right? Between your balanced side, between your Boujee. And sometimes there are times in life, and there will be episodes dedicated to being fully Boujee, you guys.
Sometimes you have to embrace it, right? We need to be able to fully engage in, that more fun side of ourselves. We can't constantly live in this self-improvement space, even though it is important and has really enriched our lives. We have to be able to turn that dial up and turn it down, because the reality is we are all just trying to get through life. And sometimes it's an awesome ride and we're having a great time and maybe we're like speeding through all our goals. And then all of a sudden we are in the thick of it and it does not feel awesome. And that is when we really need to switch up and make sure, well, I'm not going to let go of all those pieces that make my life healthier and make me a more functional, safe person. I am going to stop pressuring myself the entire time to be the best version of myself and maybe just kind of be the fun version until I'm able to get on the other side.
Absolutely. Just be, right? Because there's not a lot of space in adulthood to do that. So that is something that we really hope to, that together we will continue to grow into and we'll have some fun with.
And of course, we are not going to forget our roots. The heart of this podcast is Brooke and I sitting here just chatting, whether it be about what's going on in our lives or, important topics to us and just having a good laugh. We really wanted to kind of focus in on a couple of the requests we've gotten from you guys. So a few topics that we're going to be touching on this season include things like skincare. How far is too far with skincare? Is it getting a little extreme? Is it important to do every step? Should we be having the morning shed every morning? I'm curious to see where we all stand in that because I think it is such like a personal topic, but I am really excited to kind of dive into that with Brooke and see, what we think. And how close is skincare to like filler and Botox? Where is that line?
And additionally, another request that we have was like books. Like, what are we reading? What are we into? Which is going to be a crazy range, you guys, because of course we have like the growth and the health, how to deal with narcissists, or all of the crazy things that we're trying to learn to be better. And then there's like English period smut wrapped up in romance, right?
In a loving relationship.
Always. Oh, maybe we should dive into that, Erica, because okay, I'm actually not totally on board with like the smut term for everything across the board. Some of them are smut, but let's be real, when people are like, it's just porn, it is not. There is love. Not. It is, maybe it's emotional porn for women, but it is not the same. It does not have the same like brain reducing impacts of real porn. So
oh, I'm coming into this so heated, Brooke. I mean, you guys, it's going to be an interesting episode because I love reading. It's like one of my favorite things. This year I challenged myself to like for every, new adult romance that I read, I'm also reading a classic book, which honestly I've not maintained that fully. So let's say for every 2 fun new books I read, I'm reading a classic, which I love the classics. They just take longer. But I feel so heated when people reduce what I read to like porn. Just because I'm like, I just read 500 pages and there was a sexual encounter twice. Like, so that means like what, 30 minutes of this 6 hours, 7-hour reading was intimacy, and you're telling me that I read all that book for 30 minutes? That seems foolish and poor use of time if that's actually what those books are for.
And ask any girly who does read romantasy, smut, whatever you might put that label on. She's telling you the storyline. She's telling you the character that grabbed her heart from out of her chest and showed her that men have the capability to just be so committed to one woman in love. Where's the smut in that? Yeah, they have to give us a little something, because we're out here, we're animal beings, but yeah, what is it, like 2% of majority of these books? I know there's some outliers, guys.
Right.
I'm not saying this is across the board, but as you can tell, this could almost turn into this discussion already. It is something from my bones, and I don't even read as much as Erica. But when I had a girl my age look me in the eyes when I gave her a book recommendation and go, isn't that just smut? I almost had a violent interaction with another woman. And that does not happen. But I was like, how dare you throw that at me when I wanted to enhance your life?
Well, I know we're not going to go into it too much, but my last thing before I get off my high horse about this whole topic is this is just one more way that the world we live in wants to shame women for things they enjoy. So they are reducing women targeted literature to porn, even though it's targeted at filling emotional needs for women and helping them explore things in a safe way. And then it is reduced to something, and that has happened time and time again. And I'm going to stand up for 12-year-old Erica real quick and bring up when you guys bashed Justin Bieber and were like, oh, well, he's gay. And, he isn't as good as, like, the Rolling Stones. I don't give a crap about the Rolling Stones. I don't. I can't list you one song. I'm sure I do know some. I don't care. I still know who Justin Bieber is, though. And I feel like this is a pattern my whole life, and I'm sure living in the, mid 2000s to now, I'm actually way more blessed than women 20 years ago. But it seems like everything that I've ever gotten excited about, somebody has found a reason to be like, well, that's not really a good thing to be interested in.
Yeah. Or do you know what that really is? Do you know what you're really doing? Do you know who they're... No. Inform me. Man, white male. Sorry,
yeah.
no.
Tell me what I should think and why you, as a 46-year-old man, have such a strong opinion on media for a young woman. Maybe it's because men hate women. No, just kidding. I don't believe that around the board, but sometimes when men are like hating on women things, I don't mean that across the board, but like sometimes when men are like, "Oh, that's so stupid that you like that," or like people make fun of me, like mostly like older guys make fun of me for Harry Styles. I'm like, I'm not a 45-year-old man. And like I'm happy not being like, do you like women? Like, do you hate me? And if so, then just hang out with other 45-year-old dudes. That's okay. Like, that's
Why are you
okay.
talking to me?
Live your
Yeah.
live your truth, sir.
Absolutely, because do you know what would be so great is an echo chamber full of middle-aged men who have the same opinions. You don't have to, you're not going to convert me, sir. I
Yeah.
love Hosier with the depths of my core.
Yes. Yeah. And I actually don't need any critique. I don't need any
No.
critique or input or any of that stuff. I'm just trying to like enjoy being alive. So if you could take a step back, that would be cool.
Oh my gosh, that will actually have to be a whole episode, I think, when it's like what's coming to the surface already is so fun because yes, Harry Styles in and of itself. And as I said that, I'm like, Hosier, I'm like, if anyone fights me on him, I will go to my death. No part of me is shook by any sort of comment against him. I'm like, your eyes and your soul have not been opened, and I'm sad for you.
Exactly. I'm sad for you. That's going to be the title of the episode. All right? Like you can try to dull our shine all you want. I'm holding on. My knuckles are white. You- You're not changing me.
So on top of these fun topics where we just get to kind of riff with each other, we also do want to dive into more serious topics that you guys followed up on. For example, the Ozempic episode, we got a ton of feedback from people, all different ages and all different backgrounds, experiences using it, not. And we know that a lot of new information has come to the surface about that, so it's something that we're excited to dive back into.
I've heard you. I'm willing to revisit. I'm willing to re-explore, my preconceived notions. I don't think I'm going to change my opinion on all of it because it is still like such a heavy topic, but with this many people reaching out and all the new information, I think it is only responsible that we reevaluate because that's part of maturing, that's part of acknowledging other people's experiences being different from ours. So I think it'll be fun. Let's chat about it one more time and see where we fall now based on all this, new information, but especially, people who I care about and, people who are listeners and even people who just happened upon us that one time, sharing what their life is like in ways that I couldn't relate to and why that medication is important for them.
So guys, it's going to be a roller coaster of fun. What else is new, right? Like, we're throwing fun at you. We want you to throw things back our way, and we're ready to come back, hit this with some new energy. Mm-hmm. It's going to be a good one. We're going to have some fun. And of course, we're going to endlessly talk about Disney anytime we go there.
Yeah.
And I think a good branch into that, Erica, is maybe we should talk about what we've been doing over the past half a year when we've been away, besides rebuilding Balanced and Boujee. Of course, like, guys, we dedicated so much time to that. But did we also just spend any opportunity together and when we were both in Florida make an impulse decision that we had to go to Disney?
Yes. Is it even an impulse decision anymore, or is it a foregone conclusion?
You know what? That is so true because anytime we are both in the state of Florida, it doesn't matter where we are. I was on the opposite side. Well, granted, Disney's in the middle, you guys, okay?
It makes it so easy.
Erica's on one side, I'm on the other, and we're like, what do we have to do to get to the happiest place on earth? Mm-hmm. And how many days can we get to the happiest place on earth? Fun fact, I was in Florida for a couple of weeks visiting family, so grateful. Mm-hmm. I was working remotely. I took one day off, and do you know where I spent it? Magic Kingdom. Because who matters the most in this world? Erica and Disney. Apparently. My values are very set in place. And it was great. And we ended up going around the Super Bowl.
Oh, yes.
Fun fact. Which, just worked out right? Mm-hmm. But I feel like we should share that story because this all started at a theme park. Funny. And this is why I'm bringing this back up because we are always prepared for an epiphany or a milestone moment to happen while we're waiting in line for 2 hours or shoving our face with park food.
I think to set the scene, it is important to know that Brooke and I have this firm belief that we are very go with the flow Disney, which we in fact are not in any capacity go with the
That was
flow.
our epiphany this year. Yeah. Yeah.
We were like, we are just free spirits at Disney World. And then we realized like that is no, the issue is that we're both Brooke and I function in such a way that it's natural to do these specific steps in a specific order so that it feels like a flow, but it's not. No. It's not. We have breakfast together at the house, a full breakfast, so that we're able to not have to eat till lunchtime, and that we'll be full, and it's a good base. We pack a lunch just in case, even though we know we'll still eat at the parks, but we'll eat that lunch in line, and we have to start with a leisurely walk around the park to enjoy the environment and the vibes. So I need to let anyone know who's like, I want to go to Disney with you guys. No, sure, it's a nightmare probably.
It's crazy how naturally too, Erica and I are both extremely communicative people, and especially in our friendship. So much so that an outsider recently pointed out to us how much we communicate with each other. Like, there is no room for any sort of gap, but it doesn't feel anxiety based. It's just like, I've explained everything. Everything is so clear. And so I like to think we naturally fell into this, like, you are the left leg, I am the right, as we walk through Disney, and we are just, in sync always. But I have to believe that this actually was built on many years of explicit communication. But with that, yes, we have recently learned, we're like, wow, we always say that, Erica, we always do. We're like, we are just so, like, the Disney magic flows through us. We're so go with the flow. Like, we have a light structure, but then everything else in the day just, like, follows suit. Meanwhile, we do these parks in the same process every single time. And we realized it because we went to a new park. Because so far we'd only done Magic Kingdom, which you have to do Magic Kingdom this way, and I will perish feeling. It's when people are like, oh, I just like go and I run to this ride. And I'm like, you don't? What? You don't grab a coffee and walk the perimeter to go through all like Fantasyland and tomorrow? Like, it's an immersive experience. And I have to say, I think one of the reasons this discovery came into being actually wasn't even when we were at the park this time around. Because again, that's just our brain state, right? We go into it, we know what the day is going to look like. We do leave pockets like open, right? Like we need our afternoon treat, but we know between getting there and lunch afternoon treat, we're kind of going with a flow. But yeah. I had the opportunity to go to a park with someone who wasn't Erica, and I called her. And I was like, Disney is my sacred space. And I think I'm walking into a park with someone who will not function in that space in the same way. And I am actually like, I was like, I'm on the verge. I don't know. Should I go? Should I not? And that was a really defining moment of, I have no chill when it comes to Disney. I don't.
It's beautiful how delusional we were. And it truly does come out of other people, like, experiencing Disney in any other conditions where I'm like, but the expectation is a leisurely walk. And then the walk leads to something good. Like, the flow is the fact that if somehow a line is really short, we may pop in. But we're still on the leisurely walk around. Like, it is planned, and then someone's like, oh, I'm going to do Genie Pass, and at 2 we have to be here, and then at 3 we have to be here, and then the meals aren't happening at scheduled times. I'm going to shut down. I'm no longer feeling Disney magic. I now feel like I'm working.
Mm-hmm. For real. And okay, hey, do we get there right at park open? No, we're usually an hour later. Mm-hmm. I got there 2 hours later. I thought my head was going to explode. I was like, that is an astronomical amount of time that is lost. And then I get there and the person I'm with goes, okay, I need coffee. Now? That's why you drink your coffee before we come here. Because then we wait in line for 45 minutes because Starbucks there is always long. Doesn't matter if it's night, day.
Right. It's an afternoon coffee.
It's a treat. It's because you've made so many steps and you need a little bit of a pick-me-up, and the corn dog you ate is bringing your system down. Mm-hmm. You need a coffee.
We're super go with the flow,
Guys,
guys.
we're so chill. We're so chill.
Ugh, I'm so grateful that I get to go to Disney with you because I truly don't know if it would be the happiest place on earth if we weren't doing it like this every time. But I think it's important to tell the story of what happened at Magic Kingdom this most recent year. So we planned our Disney trip just based on right in the middle of I was also staying with family in Florida, and I was like, can we time it right in the middle? Because that works for me. I definitely can get overwhelmed with anyone, not just like a specific person in my family, but just like people in general. And so I was like, okay, we'll go right in the middle. That'll be a nice like break and kind of reset so that I'm in my best state of mind with everyone all the time. And we picked the days at Disney so that we only had to miss one day of work. And then about a week before, we were like, oh, that happens to be the Super Bowl. Hopefully it will be dead and the lines will be super, super short.
Didn't totally work out that way. So day one, there was a cheer competition though. We have to remember Disney
Yes.
is a enterprise of mega proportions, and so they know how to fill their dead times. Hence a cheer competition. Okay, it was fine. The park entrance was still green. You know, like the lines weren't that bad, but it wasn't
Right.
dead. Yeah.
It was definitely still busy, and I feel like it's important for everyone to know that we did stay past close this time. Because because we were in like athleisure basically.
Oh yeah.
And the cheer competition, they all got to stay at the park 2 hours late, and we were the last people allowed on one of the Star Wars rides. So we had like an hour wait right at park close. So we waited in line and then got on the ride, and we got out and the park had already been closed for like 40 minutes. So we just were like, we'll walk around. And while you can't ride any rides or like order food because they'll check your wristband, they don't super hunt you down. We had one lady try to be like, girls, where are your wristbands? But we did not hear her. Just walked on by. It was crazy. We got to kind of see everything lit up at night. It was really cool. And really all we wanted at that point was to, experience Toy Story at night.
That really was my wish. And again, Disney magic, okay? Because we go with a certain flow, moments of magic, including stepping into this line after the show. We raced back. There was like 2 minutes to 8. And the guy literally goes, how many people in your party? We say 2. He goes, okay, go. That's it. And we were like, what?
It was so exciting.
It was so exciting. We felt so special. And also it was because we discovered that the Star Wars ride was the coolest ride Disney has ever made ever, like halfway through the day.
It was, yeah, guys, we didn't even see the movie. Like, I've seen some of the original Star Wars, and have you seen some of the original Star Wars?
None.
Okay. And then, but neither of us have seen like the new 3 that were made once like Disney bought Star Wars. And the bad guy in the movies is like Kylo Ren. And so we met him, like he walked out to us in the crowd. We were there. We were like, that was kind of interesting. And then we go on this ride a little bit later, and all of a sudden he's there and he's kind of like using the Force and stuff. And I was like, this is kind of exciting. And it was the coolest ride we've ever seen. So much so that now we have a date set for the two of us to watch the 3 movies so we actually get what the storyline was to the ride we rode.
Yes. And will we watch them in order in a way that logically makes sense? Probably not. We just want to start with Adam Driver.
Yeah, we just want to see Kylo Ren be Kylo Ren. I'm aware that might not have a happy ending. We've prepped ourselves for that, but I am watching these movies as if it is like maybe a bit of a romantasy. I'm going at it from a book mindset.
Yeah. Which doesn't everybody when they come into Star Wars, right? Like that's exactly. We will be experts on Star Wars. We will tell every man we know the plot of Star Wars.
Yes.
And it will be great. And we will pick out all the necessary parts that everyone has to know, including how cute Adam Driver is and at what point in the movie you get to actually see his face.
I can't wait. Men love when we talk like that. Which leads us to my next favorite part of the Disney trip, which was day 2 at Magic Kingdom, which would be the day after the Super Bowl.
Yes. Surrounded by a flood of Eagles fans. Everybody wearing their jerseys, everybody wearing their shirts, and we're like, congratulations, that's great. I think it was about early afternoon, we had made our rounds. We wanted to go back to a certain part of the park to get beignets because they are new in the park now with Tiana's Bayou section. right? So we're in line, and if you don't have a concept for the park, it's multiple. There's like Frontierland, there's Adventureland, but they all are kind of hidden until you essentially turn a corner and then you can see the new one, right? Disney does that so well, as does Universal. And so we're kind of on this corner path, and we see all of these fans flooded to one area. They'll have their phones up and they're looking, and it's by this new ride. And I don't know, I was not familiar that was a parade route. So we were looking and we're like, what's going on? What's going on here? In line ordering beignets. All of a sudden, this crowd starts to cheer, and a float starts to come out. And you see Disney characters come out first, and then this guy starts to emerge. Very attractive man. Very attractive.
Striking.
Okay. Strikingly beautiful. And we were far enough away that like I could see him well, so we start spitballing. What is this? What could this be, right? And there's men scattered about, right? Because they're waiting for their wives. They're carrying all the bags. They're sitting around us with their jerseys and t-shirts on. As we are screaming out loud to each other, what's going on? You know, who is that? What's going on? So he comes out from the corner. Very attractive man, wearing all black. That doesn't help us, right? Mm-hmm. So we're like, who is that? And Erica goes, oh, I wonder if they're making a live action Princess and the Frog, and that's the actor. And I was like, oh yeah, he's really attractive. That makes sense. But the characters are wearing baseball uniforms, like green and white, but they're like striped. I'm like, is he a baseball player? I didn't realize this till after we reflected, but I do think the men around us, like, the light went out a little bit. Like, the soul drained from their body. So I sat there for what? Probably 2.5 minutes convinced he was a baseball player.
Mm-hmm.
And then
some person walks by and they're on their phone. Like, they're super excited. And she's like, I just saw Jalen Hurts. And I was like, oh, Brooke, I know Jalen Hurts. He's the quarterback. And I know who he is because I saw an interview he gave where he talked about his all-female management team. So we then realize that makes sense. He's the quarterback to the winning team in the Super Bowl, the Eagles quarterback. And we never, ever would have figured out who he was if I hadn't watched an interview where he said, I didn't hire women because I thought that would be better. I hired the best people for the job. And I was like, damn, that was amazing. Love him. Apparently never saw his face. Just listened to the words and heard his name and thought nothing of it.
We do know, we can confirm he is a striking man from afar. He knows how to do a princess wave like everybody else on those floats.
He does. He did a good job.
He did well. And we were apparently there for a milestone in Eagles fans' lives. But the magic of Disney. You never know what's going to happen. It was great. He passed. We went on with our day. And all while enjoying beignets. Like, this whole discovery came as we were shoving powdered donuts into our mouth, being like, Jalen Hurts. Like, and then it's all coming together. And that is the magical flow. That can happen when you have breakfast before you get there.
If you eat eggs in the morning, you will meet an NFL quarterback. Science.
1 + 1 is 2. So if you want our tips and tricks on how to do Disney the right way, and there's only one way, we can send you an outline PDF of the steps that you should walk that day. We can monetize that.
I think we totally should.
Really helpful.
That's genius. Because the thing is we're right. Like, I understand that it sounds crazy, but we have had an exceptional time every single time. And, like, good things naturally happen because of the way we do this. I really believe that if everyone did Disney the way we did, they would have a better experience. However, can we monetize it? Because if everybody takes the same path that we take through Magic Kingdom, that would be a problem.
We can't share all the good.
Right.
Yeah.
We have to gatekeep a little. We'll share some, but we're going to gatekeep our initial first steps.
I like that. That's good. We gave you eggs. You're starting because you're balancing out the blood sugar, okay? That's all I want to say. I will end there. I won't say any more. Don't start with a Mickey donut. Just don't.
But it's so true because, like, the thing is we eat every single thing we want to at Disney, but we do keep it pretty, like, base whole foods until afternoon. So we are able to keep, I think that keeps us going because I do not crash, but I do eat a donut the size of my face after, I think it was after dinner, and it was
It
awesome.
was. Yep. Your coffee and your donut. And that was great and needed. Especially because you guys, you could be there in the heat of the day. If that's on an empty stomach, I'm sorry. I also probably couldn't handle Disney.
Right.
You gotta fuel the body for good things. It is an investment of your time there. And when people are like, the tickets are so expensive, break it down by hour, break it down by. That's why we maximize.
Other great tip, abuse your family. Stay with them for free. Take advantage of everyone you know. I think that's, remember we talked earlier? The village. The village gets you to Disney World easier. Just saying.
Yep. Shout out to my brother.
Thanks, Chad, for the,
Me crashing his couch.
what, like
Yeah.
5th year in a row?
Yeah. I do feel really bad because I feel like half the time I call him, I'm like, hi, I'm going to be in town. Can I stay at your house for Disney? And he's like, sure. Fine. And I was like, oh, I want to see you. And he's like, sure.
I was gonna say, we should send him like a gift basket one of these years. It's getting to be a problem.
We tried to give him a Gideon's cookie.
That's
Also,
true.
a little insider tip, Disney Springs, Gideon's cookies. Well, Gideon's bakehouse, if you will. Cake, cookies, stuff, all good. I think we have now tried this, all of them that we have wanted to.
Right.
And there is one that is it like the sunset? Or it's like the night cookie. You can only get it from sunset on.
There's a sunrise one and a sunset one.
Yes. I believe taste open to everybody's unique judge of that. But this is where the bougie comes out, okay? Because Erica and I did plan. We got there. We were walking around. We wanted to go to a place for dinner. And fun fact, they were like, oh my gosh, the wait is 2.5 hours. And I said, well, is there a bar? And the girl said, yes, there's 3. And I said, can I go look for a spot? And she said, sure, good luck. This place was packed. Hella packed, okay? And as Eric and I are walking in the door, we go, this isn't looking good. But that's okay, because you go with the flow. As a couple is leaving the bar, we go, oh, and we go. And we get our spot, and we get to eat there. And then when these 2 other girls come hovering behind us with drinks an hour and a half later, we're like, come on in, we're done. We're done because you have to share the good. But number one, I think my bougie is I just ask because the worst that they can say is no.
Yeah.
And again, it's different from being pushy. It's different from being entitled to something. But if you just like, can I check for my, go for it. And Disney loves to fill in the gaps with his magic. But additionally, getting a Gideon's cookie. So we get there at sunset. I'm stressing, so I'm like, we are going to miss this window by 10 minutes. And you guys, they are a well-oiled machine. And when we looked up on our phone that sunset happened at 6:11. We asked a person, they were like, well, yeah, it'll be around like 6:11, 6:15. We get closer and the girl's like, no, it's 6:11. It's no earlier.
The important thing to know is we're missing it by being too early. We're not missing it by being too late. We got in line to be safe, and we're approaching the line, and it's not yet 6 o'clock. It's like 5:55, and we're like, we are gonna get in before 6:11. Can we still buy the cookie? And they're like, no.
It's crazy. And that line looks like it'll take forever, but it was actually moving, and we're like, gosh darn it. So again, I said, hey, what are the odds we can just hang out? Do I have to go to the back of the line? I will respect that. Or can I stay here? And she's like, yeah, you can just stay here and let other people go ahead of you. So that is what we did. And we probably got in there at, I don't know, 6:12. And it was great. So structure, letting things flow, and then also advocating for yourself, being a little bougie when it's around the things that you want, right? Again, don't be a jerk about it because we all know those people. They're like, I'll get it done. And you're like, gross.
Because there is truth to you catch more flies with sugar than vinegar, right? Like, if you just ask, they may make an exception for you. They may help you out, or maybe they won't. But if you're a jerk about being like, well, why not? They're not going to want to help you. But if you're just open and honest, like, I'm actually only here to try this one cookie, and I really don't want to go in the back of the line. Is this okay? They were super chill. And I think that's kind of the way most of the world is. If you talk to, especially like service providers, they are going to meet you where you're at if you're not a jerk.
Yes. Or if you go in there, because you can tell when those people go in with like a manipulative tactic, right? And you're like, you don't need to talk around me. And this is when I was in the service industry. Again, it's that just like be transparent, ask for what you want. You might not always get it, but like being a real person, maybe being a little vulnerable and being able to articulate what you're looking for, especially around Disney, they want to help you make it happen. They really do.
Totally agree. So my hot take, the morning cookie is a coffee cake,
Yeah.
like coffee cake cookie. And then night is a coffee cake cookie with chocolate chips. And my hot take is the morning one is better. I prefer it without chocolate.
Me too. And I never thought I'd say to you guys it was dark chocolate. I was like, it's going to be amazing. I also, too, my favorite cookies at Gideon's are the normal cookie base.
Yeah.
Can't tell you why.
Not that it wasn't great. It was totally worth waiting in line for. It was worth, we took a special trip because last time we got the morning cookie, so this time we got the night cookie. It was totally worth it. But after, you know, even though they were had a year apart, I'm like, what I want to eat in the morning, because we only ate like a fourth of the cookie because they are really large cookies.
Yeah.
So you're actually we are eating it for like a day or two afterwards. And in the morning, I still really enjoyed it, but I was like, this would be better without chocolate. I would just enjoy it just being more that cookie dough base.
Yeah. Because they do it so well. Like the way they bake it, like that cookie dough flavor comes through in the original cookies. Your favorite was like the pistachio one though, wasn't it?
Yes, my actual top favorite is the pistachio cookie they have there. That is also with like the regular cookie base. I don't know if there's chocolate chips in it. I can't remember. I think there might be.
I think so.
But if there is chocolate chips, there's like double the amount of pistachios on top. It was so yummy, and it was great like for breakfast, but it's also kind of like a filling cookie. So like I did have it like as a snack the next day. And it really did fill me up. It was really great. So not only was it just a treat, the protein in the nuts obviously kept me going.
Satiating. There's also probably 15 pounds of white sugar in there. So you have a fourth of it and you're like, I'm actually okay. Like I'm good. And that doesn't happen for me with baked goods. I can just keep going. But I think that's my threshold.
That's such a valid point, because I think sometimes people might assume that like we're just choosing to only eat part of it because, you know, we don't want to eat too much or whatever, which I get that sometimes. I do make those kinds of choices. But when it comes to cookies, I'm a savage.
Yeah.
Literally the day after was the day I got a cookie, or I got a donut that was legitimately the size of my face, and I did eat the whole thing just because it's like air, you know, it's like eating nothing. And a lot of times cookies are like this. The Gideon Bakehouse cookies, they are a meal. Like I was like, I have to stop myself because my brain wants to keep eating, but my body is like, you are done.
Yeah. I actually feel like the taste buds on my tongue are like, we are overstimulated.
Yes.
We're done. So it is good. Yeah, it is a dense little cookie. It's like $5-6 a pop, and you're like, excuse me? Don't worry. That cookie could last you days.
Yeah.
Probably should, because otherwise you might have a tummy ache.
Exactly. And don't forget to microwave it the next time you have it.
Yeah.
Amazing.
Game changer. Good to be back.
Yeah. Loving it. Can't wait to do even more episodes and talk to you guys like a million more times.
Mm-hmm. We look forward to talking to you. Hopefully you look forward to hearing from us. Catch us on Instagram, TikTok. Yes? No?
Yes, but like, I'm gonna be real, guys. TikTok and I are enemies, and because they really want me to pay. I think they know that I'm trying to promote a podcast and not just me as a person. So I'm playing around with how that's going to go in the future, because they keep being like, why don't you try paying $18 and we'll show this video to 1,000 people? And I'm like really nervous to pay the $18, which maybe sounds pathetic, but like, I just feel like they're going to keep suppressing my videos unless I pay every time to show them. Mm-hmm. And well, that'd be fine if it was like I'm paying for an ad and I get the value in that. The TikTok algorithm ends up being, at least for me, like a bit like emotional, like you feel like you're failing, or people don't like you, or people don't like your videos. So I think mostly catch us on Instagram. I will try to keep the TikTok going, but it is only based on how my mental health is that week.
And we will totally update you if we decide to shut that down, because I too will not touch it with a 10-foot pole. I mean, I have one to open videos that people send me, but I refuse. Because TikTok wants you to feel bad about yourself. It wants to become your full-time job. Yeah. And have you pay for it to be your full-time job. And we're both like, no.
Yeah, no, so not yet. So catch us on Instagram, and please give us a like, give us a rating, reach out to us, let us know what you want to hear us talk about. We are always open to submissions, and we can't wait to hear how you guys feel about, Balanced and Boujee bigger than ever. I'm excited to see what you say.
Catch you on the next one, guys.
Bye.